Hello, welcome to the pilot episode of Flicks from the Crypt. I am your ghoulish host, Elijah.
And I am your creepy butler guy, Brandon.
And so the premise of the show is we are going to give you both the latest and tastiest horror movie news, while also giving you a kind of review show about a movie of the week. This week's movie is The Town That Dreaded Sundown.
It's the
2014 version.
the newer edition.
The sequel thing. Okay, going in, we didn't know that it was like, okay, I wouldn't call the original a classic by any means, but like but like going in, we didn't know that it, like, we thought the movie they played in the movie was a fake movie.
It's not. It's very fourth wall breaking. They play the original movie in this movie.
So yeah, we're gonna get to that, but first, let's go to our news segment, our news desk.
And I don't know any of this as much as you guys do, so this is going to be a news to me.
I researched today while Brandon was at work. Okay, so our first story, there was a bank robber. He was convicted in 2006, but he violated his parole. He was arrested on the set of a low-budget horror movie.
Oh, really?
A bank robber was apprehended on the set of a low-budget horror movie. Filming had wrapped up for the day. He went and to buy cigarettes. And they found him and arrested him. And they looked at his costume before taking him to jail.
How courteous.
Well, they didn't want to give him a fine. But the film was called Marla May. It's a low-budget slasher. It was completed before he got arrested, though.
All right.
I think it was the last day of filming when they arrested him.
How many years is it for a bank robbery?
He violated parole.
So it's only like...
Well, I mean, he got arrested and then got out of... Do you not know what parole means?
No, I got fixated on the robbery part of it, not like...
Oh, no, yeah, he was arrested and he was on parole and he violated parole, so they had to arrest him again.
Okay.
I'm not sure when Marla May will be out, but yeah, stay tuned. At least you'll know. He played the main villain, too, so you can watch it and be like...
Marla May? Like...
Marla May.
Marlon...
So you can... Marley and May. The dog slasher flick classic. I cried at the end when Marley died.
He's like laying in bed at night.
From a stab wound.
He rolls over, and the dog's just standing there blind, like stone-faced with a knife in its mouth.
It has a Hannibal Lecter mask on.
Zoe went running through the house one time. My dog, Zoe, went running through the knife one time with a blade in her mouth. Like the wooden handle was clenched in her teeth, and she was running with this blade sticking out the side of her mouth. I was afraid she was going to run by and, like, slice my shins.
Well, she ran by and slashed your Achilles tendon. Okay, our next story. There's a new streaming service coming out catered to horror movies called Shudder. I think we should look into that.
That sounds pretty good.
But it's a horror streaming service, and they say, unlike Netflix, which kind of just takes its programming based off what it can get.
Yeah.
They're going to be very selective about the movies they put on. Because since it's so specific to a certain genre.
It sounds like high profile. Like,
it's a high quality. It's the fine wine of.
Has that launched or will it launch?
That I'm not sure about. I think it hasn't launched yet, but they did say the price point would be around $4.99, so a little cheaper than Netflix.
That's not bad.
Yeah. It was developed by Colin Geddes.
Geddes? That sounds like
or Geddes. I can't.
Axe murderer.
Well, he was the main programmer at the Toronto Film Festival for the Midnight Madness block.
Uh-huh.
And so he knows about horror movies. So he's the one in charge of Shudder. Yeah, again, that's Shudder for anyone interested in finding that.
Oh yeah, they have a website. It's called www.shudder.com.
Read me what it says, Brandon.
It's in beta right now.
Unlock the door to a world of horror.
And at your own risk. It feels like it's gonna like hack my phone or something.
Okay, so they are separated based off what kind of horror it looks like, and there's like a recently added, featured. Looks promising.
It looks really good.
It's in beta right now, which means it's functional.
It's a really nice mobile app.
Yeah, I might have to look into that. Alright, next.
If you join, you get 14 days free.
No way. Brandon, you like The Walking Dead.
I love The Walking Dead.
I'm not a big fan, but did you know they're making a spin-off series?
Yes, it's called
Fear the Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead, and it's supposed to be like before the virus.
Exactly.
Which I don't know how it's gonna work.
Well, they recently they released the first episode synopsis, right? Not synopsis, but what it's about. They just recently released the second episode synopsis. So the first episode follows a dysfunctional family.
No, does it switch between like?
That's what I'm thinking. Maybe it's like a.
That'd be kind of cool then.
Yeah, what is it? Like a serial? Not a serial, but you know what I mean. Like
it switches around.
Yeah, I forgot the term for it.
Maybe somehow tie like
to the originals.
Yeah.
Well, it takes place in L.A.
No, I mean somehow tied to each other.
Oh, that's possible too. But, well, that's because the second episode it focused around a woman who's trying to help her son go through withdrawal while it's happening.
He must be having a horrible time because that's
he probably doesn't even notice the zombies going.
His hallucinations.
What if you were having withdrawal in a rehab clinic and you just thought the zombies were also going through withdrawal because they're all shaky?
Ew.
So yeah, that there's not a release date on that yet. Yeah. But you'll probably enjoy that.
I would. It sounds pretty good. It sounds like something that's like I would love to see. It's like episodes where you don't know if people are gonna make it out that one episode. Like an entire episode devoted to someone. Kind of like, you know how like there's an episode of Samurai Jack with following the robot. What was his name? And he dies at the very end, and it's sad. And that's all of it. Like you don't hear
Samurai Jack feel.
Yeah, it's like it's outside of the story, basically.
It's I know what you mean.
I would like something like that, where I don't know exactly who's gonna live in each episode or what, because The Walking Dead's kind of predictable.
I just couldn't get into it. Which I mean, I don't know. I was like when Zombie Fever hit, I liked zombies, but I don't know. I feel like they got played out.
It did, just like the possession movies and ghosts and whatnot. But,
I mean, they're still doing possession movies.
Yeah, but it's so boring. It's old.
Well, there was the zombie movie kick, and now it's all about found footage. Yeah.
But
although I feel like that's dying down a bit.
But yeah,
with the advent of like Insidious and Babadook and shit like that.
My main complaint about The Walking Dead is the fan base sometimes.
I know you suck. You're horrible.
No, like the people that's like, if Daryl dies, we riot. It's like, come on.
No.
I don't like that. It's like.
Try watching Game
of Thrones.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
They had that fan request to like bring back Beth or spoilers.
I need to insert like a loud horn every time there's a spoiler.
We'll just put
spurler.
Put it in the comments down below, like spoiler 1.
Eventually we'll be on like 1A, 1B, 1C.
but people are like, bring this so and so back, and it's like a petition they've had going around. It's like, fuck off, you know. It's just part of the story. They didn't matter up until they tried to produce them, lift this character up enough in the story just so you'll feel bad when they kill them. That's all they do, and you can see it.
That's called clever writing.
Okay, spoiler if you haven't seen up to season, I don't know what, 5. You know, they did it with Herschel. They started building him up like crazy. Dead.
Who's Beth again?
Beth is his daughter.
Who?
It's Herschel's daughter. Yeah, she's blonde. She don't do shit. That's why you don't know her.
Okay.
She's like the less popular.
Okay, we've been talking about The Walking Dead. I haven't even seen the show. Okay, so here's something interesting. So you remember when PT came out, and a lot of people were super excited for it. It turned out to be Silent Hills, and then it turned out it was canceled when
because Konami sucks.
Yeah, when Hideo Kojima left Konami.
No, he didn't leave. They fired him because he didn't want to make another Metal Gear. That's why.
But yeah, okay. Silent Hills was a collaboration between Benicio del Toro and Hideo Kojima.
I thought it was Guillermo del Toro.
Benicio del Toro. I mean Guillermo del Toro. Benicio del Toro's a fucking actor. I'm an idiot. Okay, so.
But
I like Benicio del Toro though. But he was good in Things We Lost in the Fire.
They killed PT and they nuked it.
But that's not the news. The news is Guillermo del Toro was recently giving an interview and he said that him and Hideo Kojima were working on something.
Good.
So it's not Silent Hills, but it's something.
Because PT was promising.
And I feel bad for Guillermo del Toro. He's been trying to make a video
twice
game.
Now he's been screwed.
Yeah, the other one, Insane, which wasn't a great title anyway. But Insane. He was working on Insane, and I can't remember.
Was that Neversoft or someone that dropped him?
Neversoft went out of business.
Or Activision or someone.
Where did Neversoft go to? I don't know. But yeah, so they're working on something. So we'll probably update
maybe
after we get more information.
Oh,
I don't know. Okay,
but boycott Konami.
I have 2 words for you. El Gigante.
Oh yes.
What do I like, Brandon? What
you like luchadors?
Yes.
And you like cannibals.
I was gonna say horror movies, but I like cannibals too. El Gigante, a horror movie about a cannibal luchador. My panties are so fucking wet right now.
We saw a trailer.
We watched the trailer for it.
And
Maybe I might link it in the comments.
It doesn't show much in the trailer.
I know, but it makes
me great.
It looks cool.
Just imagine, kind of like this Rey Mysterio looking motherfucker.
It was based off a short, I think, and they're making it into a full movie. So I wonder if I can find the short.
Do you think he can dive off the top ropes or something and take a chunk out of someone's neck? Do
you think he'll pull a Mike Tyson and just bite a little bit of their ear off in the middle of the match?
When you say just bite a little bit of his ear off, it makes it sound sensual. He's just
hey babe, come here. Let me eat you. Yeah. So there's no news about that. I just wanted to say El Gigante.
Look it up. I think they had a GoFundMe for a while. Didn't they?
I think it's I think it was Kickstarter.
Is it still?
Well, I mean, it's probably over. I mean, it's getting made.
Yeah, okay.
It's confirmed it's being made.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure if it was Kickstarter or not. Have you heard about the American Psycho musical?
I have not.
It premiered in London a while back, but it got a U.S. release date officially. And it's coming to they're thinking it's coming to New York around February 19th. And what's his name? He did Spring Awakening.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, he was a singer in the 90s who had one song. But he wrote music for Spring Awakening, but he has a lot of experience in Broadway, and he's doing the music for American Psycho.
I would be curious to see how that goes because I loved
yeah, we're both American Psycho. What was it, Alan? Hey, Alan. Was that it? Was it his name, Alan?
Hey, Bob. I thought it was Bob, wasn't it?
I don't think it's
Dan.
Bob.
Or Dan or something.
Yeah. I don't know. Feed me a cat. That's all I have to say.
Huey Lewis in the news.
I saw them in Orlando studios. They were really good. Guys, Huey Lewis still sounds really good, even though he's old. Last little bit of news I have here. Five Nights at Freddy's 4 is up. Or the demo's up. Yeah, woo.
We were watching Markiplier play it.
Neither of us really have interest, but someone else might. So
yeah.
I figure we'd just say it.
It just stresses me out. That's all it does. I mean, I have the first game on my computer and
they just crank them out too fast.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll probably link it. A YouTuber playing it.
We'll link. Well, I might just link it to the demo.
All right. Yeah.
That'll work too. And that's all for the news of the week. I doubt we'll cover super important stuff every week, but I just saw these stories and thought these are interesting, and these might be cool to know. So I figured I'd go ahead and include those. But now it's time for our feature presentation.
Oh boy,
our creature feature presentation. The town that dreaded sundown. Yeah, we went in not knowing that this was technically a sequel.
Can we read the synopsis to them of the movie?
Okay, Brandon, give me a synopsis of the movie.
Okay, so the town that dreaded sundown says 65 years after a mass serial killer terrorized the small town of Texarkana, the so-called moonlit murders begin again. Is it a copycat or something even more sinister? A lonely high school girl with dark secrets of her own may be the key to catching him.
Straight from IMDb, folks.
Yes, I think that it's a very generic idea. And it reminded me a lot of the Zodiac.
Okay, so the fourth wall breaking aspects were...
I like that.
It was interesting. That part was interesting. Even though at the time I didn't... I mean, I was still interested even though I didn't know it was based off an older movie. And technically it's based off real events. This movie isn't, the killer is.
But as we were watching this, I kept thinking, oh, this is like this movie, or this is like this movie. I never think this is like this.
This is a good idea.
This is this specific movie because I thought of the Zodiac. I actually wrote down Halloween 4 in my notes. I'm like, this is like Halloween 4.
Well, the movie stars a girl named Addison Timlin, and her character is very boring.
Yeah,
she doesn't go through much growth. She doesn't really have a character.
And she goes through some pretty dramatic things and moves on like nothing happened.
There's actually, I forget the name of the test, but there's a test to see if a character is good, and you have to describe them not using any physical characteristics. See if you can do that. Describe her.
bland.
That's kind of the opposite I was going for, but okay.
Well, this is...
Okay, well, the movie starts at a drive-in theater, and they're watching the old movie. And there's one thing I do have to applaud this movie. The movie that's based on the technical sequel, the prequel before it, was made in the 70s. And that's one thing I kind of liked about this movie is that it looked like it was still in the 70s. I thought that was kind of an interesting
Yeah, but it
design
says it's in 2013, so it's like...
No, yeah.
Everyone who lives in Texas or Texarkana is dressing like they're a few generations behind.
Well, when the movie opened at the drive-in theater, I was like, is this the 70s? And you were like, no, it said 2013 below it. And I was like, oh, I didn't see
But then it came back later, I'm like, why does everyone look like they're from the 70s?
I kind of liked I liked it, though.
No, it was different, yeah.
I like the idea of having it look like a different era despite being
But I think one of the
modern.
first things I actually said as we were watching this was, this reminds me of the Zodiac.
It's like Edward Scissorhands, where it looks like it's in the 50s and 60s, but
Yeah.
it's like modern day.
But basically, the killer targets young teenage couples trying to find a private place to fuck.
Well, not always, but I'll get back to that. So yeah, drive-in theater. The the main character and the boy who asked her on a date, they left the drive-in theater and they they try to start banging. I remember you saying the guy looked like Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, and then later I revised that to Matthew McConaughey mixed with Jesse Eisenberg.
Well, also you said that the main female protagonist looked like not Zooey Deschanel. Or Zooey Deschanel, but not is what you said.
Yeah.
So we have Matthew McConaughey and Zooey Deschanel in the car. They're banging. They see a guy in a hood. I know it's a movie, and in horror movies people make horrible, stupid decisions. As soon as I saw a man in the forest with a bag on his head, I wouldn't be like, what's that? Huh? Oh, maybe we should go. I'd just be like, vroom, vroom, peeling the fuck out.
My first note I put here was, don't bang in the woods. And then about the very next scene, they're pulling up in the woods. So about a couple notes down, I wrote, this couple's gonna die.
Well, it turns out he only kills one of them. He kills the boy and lets the girl go and says, like, this is for Mary or something like that.
Yeah. Remind them of Mary. But then I wrote, and honestly, can I say something?
Yes. I
know we watched it. I still don't know who the fuck Mary is.
That's a good point. Who the fuck is Mary? Maybe it was the grandma he was talking about later who said... Anyway...
but I ended up writing yup, banging in the woods, and then, they get attacked. So it's like, come on, this is generic, like...
The cinematography was nice.
Yeah.
When they were driving in the car. They used a lot of Dutch angles, though, like when the camera's tilted. And I feel like that kind of petered out at the end. They didn't use as much, but the cinematography was still kind of nice.
I did write down something kind of ridiculous, because she went running through the woods and ended up, like, getting attacked in the woods, but she got away. Like, he let her go.
Yes.
But... she ended up crawling back to the drive-thru underneath the screen, and I fucking hear some people go, "Are you okay?" A couple of people I put down, "Are you okay?" Really?
Does it really look okay? My question is, they drove pretty far. How'd you get back to the drive-in?
I don't know.
They drove the opposite direction of the drive-in.
Imagine someone seeing you take a slug to the chest, and they're like, "Dude, are you okay?"
To be fair, she wasn't shot or anything. Just kind
she was covered in blood and crawling on her hands and knees underneath the...
I mean, that's a typical Friday in Texarkana.
Well.
Anyway, the cinematography was nice. It had that cool, and yeah, since everyone was kind of dressed in 70s, it had that like cool retro feel, kind of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's the strongest point of the movie is like
the retro
is like the cinematography.
Yeah. I keep going back to when they were first attacked, but the killer told the guy to drop his pants. And I was thinking, oh no, because he had.
I thought some deliverance shit was gonna happen.
But then I was thinking, because he didn't do it. He started stabbing him, but I couldn't tell if he's humping or stabbing or both.
He's stabbing him in the butt with his wiener.
Because I put better than expected because I didn't know.
Worse than expected.
But I was thinking if he didn't rape him, then why did he drop his pants? I was thinking maybe realistically.
Yeah. Wait. What? Why?
Yeah. Why did
they never explained that?
They didn't.
Next scene. So after that... yes?
This is another one of those horror movies that's like bad case of like, girl is running, killer is walking, killer catches up somehow.
Yeah, he walks a lot, like when people are trying to escape. And like, he's not like a Jason figure who's like paranormal, he's just a dude. You think he would run.
No.
And he runs sometimes.
Because at first, when I watched this movie, I thought of the Zodiac, then I thought of the Strangers because the burlap sack, and then I thought of Michael Myers because he's walking, and later I thought of Scream. So, this movie's a mutt.
So yeah, not a lot happens. The girl who escaped, she goes to research the killer because he was around before, because this is based off the old movie or whatever. It took place in like 1946. The murders or something. So she goes to research him, and there's this guy there who's showing her around, and like immediately as she walked up to the window to ask about the information, I was like, that guy's new romantic interest.
And he was almost immediately the romantic interest.
Oh, immediately. As soon as I saw he was a young man, I was like, this is a new romantic interest.
Like, you might have just been on your first date with the guy that just got killed, but you moved on from a traumatic situation very, very quickly.
She bounced back very quick.
She does it later, too.
That guy wasn't even that interesting. He didn't have much of a character. He was like...
No, he didn't.
And he was nervous at first. Like, that was kind of like a character tick, but like... As it went on, he just became bland.
I got a weird, like, 50 Shades of Grey twinge right when they first started talking. I mean, I mentioned it. So I'm like, this looks like, that girl, but it wasn't. But, like...
Oh, yeah, Brandon thought the main character was the girl from 50 Shades of Grey.
I have a knack for identifying some characters and horribly misidentifying other characters, so...
But yeah, at the when she's talking to him, she says something about not getting asked out a lot. Bullshit.
Yeah, I don't know.
She was a good-looking lady.
So she meets him. It flashes to some new couple that is introduced.
Yeah, Adam. Yeah, the girl's in therapy, right? Talking to like her therapist or whatever, and she's not a lot is said here. But then all of a sudden, just like boom, cuts to this lady in like a flowy '70s dress,
meeting her like boyfriend.
Yeah, this guy gets back from the army. She like hugs him, and then it cuts to them banging. It's such a fucking like,
it was so hard
shock from the last. Scene.
I wrote seizure sex because like they were like shaking and like convulsing.
Is that not how you have sex? Oh.
But like, yeah, I wrote boobies.
Of course, they die.
But like they get. It doesn't show the Marine get killed. I'm thinking, come on, this guy took out a Marine.
Yes.
Like
maybe he's surprised.
He's a big guy too, though. He's a big.
Jump behind him and slit his neck.
He sawed his whole head off.
Well, yeah, maybe he's.
But I did like how he used his head to break through the window. It was kind of interesting.
It's a good intimidation tactic.
But when this girl jumps through a window, okay, and like her leg breaks, or like was it bone or glass that was sticking out of her leg? But it looked pretty gruesome. Like I winced when I saw it. It
wasn't broken glass. It was her bone.
It was a bone. I winced when I saw it. 'Cause I was just like, ah.
Yeah, you were like, oh.
It was pretty gruesome.
Yeah, and then next they go to like a town hall meeting in 2013.
Yeah, and they led it with prayer. So I'm like, it's a very religious town.
I guess so. I mean, there was that crazy preacher dude. He was introduced in the beginning. Talking about how the town, like, yeah, he was saying that the slasher film was bad and shit, but then later he's talking about how it's like bringing people to the church. He flip flopped pretty quick.
Yeah,
I just thought of that.
He's like, this is a good idea. Oh, and then they introduce, after the meeting, they introduce the two. Well, you already met you met the Arkansas.
Yeah, there's a sheriff that they allude to. There's a sheriff they allude to being the killer a couple times because the way he like his mannerisms are very.
Imagine
weird.
the scruff silent sheriff basically. But then they introduced the Texas sheriff.
Which one was he?
His name was. They call him Lone Wolf.
No, that wasn't he was a Texas Ranger.
Was he a Texas Ranger?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, regardless,
Lone Wolf is actually the most interesting character in the movie.
He doesn't do shit.
Not really, but he's the most interesting character. Anyone who says "Call me Lone Wolf" is the most interesting character in this movie.
He acts so like into the investigation, but he does nothing, and you hardly ever see him.
He traces the email back to the preacher. Jamie, the main character, she gets an email. It's just a bunch of shit. It turns out a preacher sent it just to get more people to come to his church or some shit like that. But that whole scene didn't really have a point. Like the whole arc, that whole email arc,
just to show that the preacher was for the murderers, basically.
I guess, or maybe to narrow him down as not a suspect anymore.
But one of the things I wrote about after we briefly met Lone Wolf, I wrote Doug Dimmadome.
Owner of the Dimsdale
Because
Dimmadome?
he's like an authoritative figure, and he's like really cheerful, and he wears a giant white cowboy hat. And
Brandon, so Lone Wolf, he was the guy, he's in like Scary Movie 3, he's in a lot of movies. What is his name? It's like...
I don't know, but I briefly thought
Anthony Anderson is his name.
I briefly thought it was the guy who played Corey's dad in Corey in the House. Or That's So Raven. And I wrote that down. I wrote down that just so I would remember.
Yeah. And then at this point, I wrote like, "What if the whole town's in on it?" Like a Hot Fuzz situation. I was like, "What if this is just like some weird thing the town does?"
Yeah.
To preserve like a tradition or something like that.
That comes into play later because you don't really know. You don't really have a reason to think that till later.
I wrote it down around this point though. I thought about it earlier too. Yeah, I don't remember what set it off, but I thought about it. At this point, so then Jamie goes to her. What's his name? Nick. She goes to a candlelit vigil for him and the Marine and the lady who got murdered. So she goes there. And
wait, hold on.
Yes.
Don't go yet.
Why?
Okay, the killer in the beginning of the movie focuses. You see the killer's bright blue eyes. Later, a long time later, the main character is sitting on her porch talking to Nick, or not Nick, but the new
guy.
Yeah, new guy. We'll call him
Jesse Eisenberg.
Jesse Eisenberg. Okay, Jesse Eisenberg's sitting talking to her, and you know how like the camera is like pointing towards something, and like you can tell the main focus isn't like in the center of the screen, but like a little off. You know what? But you just know what it is. Jesse Eisenberg has very blue eyes. Okay, now...
Sounds like we're just talking about the actor now.
Now proceed.
Well, actually, before we move on from that, I don't know if that was a strength or a weakness in, focusing so much on the killer's blue eyes, because at that point you're like, does that guy have blue eyes?
Yeah.
No? Okay, he's not the
I feel like I was playing a game of Guess Who. Like,
does your character have blue eyes? No, it's not me.
Because I had like...
Is your character Jewish?
Because I had like persons of interest like in my thing, and then like they kept getting killed off.
Yeah, Detective Brandon was like writing down his suspect list. Although you still didn't guess right.
I didn't, but like you can't.
Okay, anyway, candlelit vigil, right? Someone shows up dressed as the killer, bag on his head.
But she's with Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah, she's with the new guy who they've been alluding to as a new love interest. So at that point, it's like, oh, he isn't the killer. Well, one of the Marines at the vigil shoots the guy, and
like without question, just whips out a gun.
Yeah, like he wasn't. The guy wasn't armed. He wasn't. He was just walking.
He had like a knife. I think.
He didn't have anything in his hands. Nope. He didn't have anything in his hands. He was just walking towards the group, and everyone was screaming.
I want to see like a terrifying like villain with like a rope, like
a rope. No, it needs to be a rope with like a knot tied on the end. He just
he whips people with it.
He whips James Bond's nuts with it.
That's a scene. I forgot about that.
A little to the left. So they shoot him, and at that point you think it's over. Well, it cuts to this party, and people are like, the killer's dead, and they're dancing. Well, two people who are in the band at the party leave. They're two guys. Turns out they're gay.
I thought this was pretty funny. The band kids, they're like, are gay. Like,
you're gay.
I just thought it was funny because like their main characters are like in the movie they're band. They both play wind instruments. Like the one plays brass trombone, the other one plays trumpet. So I guess this is both brass. But they will take a lot of air to blow into those instruments. I thought it was ironic. I don't think they did it on purpose. It's just my stupid sense of dark humor. I thought it was funny.
Because you blow into an instrument and you blow guys when you're gay?
Yeah, because that's what they're going to do in this movie. They drove off in the dark and into the junkyard, and they were going to blow each other, and that's when they get attacked.
I think you're looking too into it. Also, I think you're an idiot.
I said I didn't think they did it on purpose. I just thought it was funny.
Well, so they're about to blow each other when the killer shows up, and this actually happened in the original movie. He ties a knife to the end of a trombone, the kid's trombone, and he stabs the other kid with it. It was just silly. Like, the original movie...
He was, like, blowing in it, too, while he stabbed him.
Yeah, okay. As someone who played the trombone, it takes a lot of air to blow into it. It takes a lot of air to blow into it, and it'd be hard to blow into a fucking trombone through the mask. What?
I'm sorry, I was watching, I was like, why? Like, why would they use the trombone?
Well, showing me a list is not helping a podcast.
That was funny.
I have to cut this out now. So at that point, they tell Jamie that the killer's still out. That guy they shot was not the actual killer. and she's upset about that.
Yeah, I forget what exactly happens around this time, but I wrote down she moved on pretty quick. Like, it was...
Yeah, and she's like, this is at the point in the movie where I wrote down Jamie is very bland.
Yeah.
But also, so after that, she's talking to her new love interest, and she's all concerned, and she tells the story about how her parents died. She lives with her grandma. So she tells the story about how her parents died in a car crash, and then new guy tries to make out with her, and then she gets pissed off at him.
She didn't get pissed off that she tried to make out.
No, she was pissed off about that.
No, he put his hand like on her thigh by her vagina. That's what she got pissed off about.
I mean, did you see what she was wearing?
No, come on. And I'm thinking, dude, come on, seriously. And
well, yeah, he blew it. Yeah. So at that point, she's all mad at him.
They weren't even like they were like on like a city street, like in a car. Like, what are you gonna do there? Like,
yeah, seriously, it was in the middle. It was like at sunset. Like, it was still light out. Anyway, at this point, it cuts to the sheriff, and he takes some chick back to his
from the bar.
Yeah, and he starts...
It's the Arkansas sheriff, the one that I thought might have been the killer.
Arkansas. And he's getting a blowjob from some lady from a bar, and this is the point where you're like, oh, he's not the killer because he's having sex and he's going to die now. And that's what happens. He gets shot in the face, and then
shot in the face.
And then he crucifies the other lady in the middle of a field. And there's some concerned-looking old black man.
I thought it was pretty stereotypical they had a woman in her underwear crawling through a field with the camera right behind her ass.
I mean, that's all you want to see at that point, right?
Yeah, but I put, of course, girl crawling in her underwear.
Of course, girl crawling in her underwear.
Oh, yeah, she also got scared by a scarecrow, screamed, and, like,
to be fair, if you're being chased through a cornfield and you see a big thing that looks like a man in front of you...
That's okay, but she sat there long enough for him to walk to her and kill her.
I suppose, but at that point she wasn't getting away.
That was lame. No, she could have got away, because the guy all he does is walk.
He ran at that point towards her.
No, he didn't.
I'm pretty sure he did.
No.
Hold on a second. I'll edit that out. If I were on the movie to figure out what happened. Because I think this is when they go talk to the director.
Yeah, because they have sex next. After that. They do.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so next they go and visit the son of the director of the original old movie, which we thought it was fake at this point, but turns out it was real. It's not his actual son in the movie, but...
Yeah.
So he gives his theory about who the killer is.
That guy's creepy, too. He lives in like a trailer, doesn't he, or something?
He lives on a boat in the middle of a field.
Yeah, it's weird.
And he says there was a one last victim that didn't get the attention all the other ones did, so he thinks it is that victim's grandson looking to, like, make his family name important or some shit like that. The motivation for the killing is pretty stupid, but because it turns out that theory is correct. But you don't. But I mean, you still don't know who the grandson is at this point. And then after they learn this, they go back to Jamie's house and they fuck.
Now listen here, and this is why I wrote down scream.
Always wear a condom.
Listen.
That's from Uncle Elijah.
This girl was not targeted by this killer until after she had sex. Which is like another generic thing, and it's just... it got me, because I kept thinking of all these other horror movies.
Why would you fuck when you know there's a killer around?
He's been stalking you.
Who kills people when they fuck.
Like, it wasn't solved yet, and you guess what happened next to that? Jesse Eisenberg gets brutally killed.
Her new guy dies because they fucked, because he's an idiot. So that takes care of him as a suspect, but I didn't think he did it anyway because it would be too obvious. Yeah, at that point he dies, but she doesn't know yet. And then her grandma starts losing it on her because she's focusing too much on the killings, trying to solve them. And she's like, "You need to be focusing on your college degree."
So they decide to move, don't they?
I think they
drop her off to college.
Yeah, they're leaving the town. She got accepted to some college, so they're leaving town. As they're leaving, they pull up in a gas station. Jamie runs in. She grabs a bottle of water. Then she hears gunshots, and she goes outside, and they shot her grandma in the neck.
I wrote down, no, grandma. Because, like, I'm like, really? She's such a sweet lady. No, Grandma gets shot in the throat. The guy next to her gets shot in the throat. Some other kid comes out of the gas station, shot in the head. I'm like, I was theorizing as the DC sniper all the way across the country, just taking people out.
Too soon, Brandon.
It was like 10 years, 15 years ago.
So yeah, my only question when the grandma was shot was who did she fuck?
Who didn't she fuck is the real question.
That's true. That old whore was getting around. So this is what leads up to climax. Jamie's being chased.
Sure did.
Grandma leads us up to climax. Jamie's being chased throughout a warehouse or some shit like that. That's where he was shooting people from. And eventually he catches up with her, and she's running through a field, and he shoots her with a bow and arrow. And where did he get the bow and arrow?
He didn't. It just like spawned because you said it's like where is he have an arsenal?
Yeah, I was like, does he have a fucking arsenal on him? Oh wait, I just thought of something. Maybe it was the other one because
these other ones across the river.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you might be thinking, what other one? There were two people killing people.
So they basically she tries to get away.
I was partially right. There was more than one killer.
Shot by a second arrow. She goes down like a dropped elk. And she's laying there, and Trimbley takes the mask off to kill her. It's the first guy who asked her out on the date.
No, actually, the first person who took the mask off was there was a cop who was watching her house, and throughout the whole movie he was watching her house.
He's a very small side character.
Yeah, although I guess you wouldn't suspect him. Around the end, you said something like, "Who's the killer?" The fucking cop has been watching.
Yeah, because I put down weird twist.
Yeah, but it turns out he's the grandson who wanted to make his family name. But then the second killer takes off the mask. It was her boyfriend from the beginning who took his pants off and got stabbed. Turns out they faked his death because the killer made her look away while he was being stabbed. So the guy faked his death.
The boyfriend goes on this diatribe about how he realized he doesn't want to go to college just like his dad and get a job just like his dad and do everything just like it's accepted to be normally. And that's why he decided he's going to do something memorable and murder a bunch of people. That way, when he hears on the headlines, he knows it was him. And I had 2 points to this. One, I wrote down boo-hoo. And 2, I wrote down no one else would even know it was him. So I don't know how he accomplished something.
Was he hiding the entire movie so no one would see him?
Like in a cellar or something, like Bin Laden was.
Send in SEAL Team 6, they'll find the Phantom Killer. So yeah, and then and they have nothing to do with each other. I don't know how they would have found each other to do this. Was the guy just looking for an accomplice, and he was like, "Hey, do you have daddy issues and don't want to? Do you want to be remembered?"
He put an ad on Craigslist.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say that. You dick.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, and then so the cop he shoots the kid because he doesn't need him anymore or something like that.
He goes to stab her in the back because he turns her over like he did the first guy.
Yeah.
Which I thought again.
Although he didn't take her pants off.
He didn't. I thought she's gonna rape her, but he didn't. But then she manages to grab the gun from the other guy and quickly twist around and shoot the guy to death. Which I was thinking that's bullshit because she has 2 arrows through her.
He also fell in the river and floated away like Osama. There's a lot of Osama stuff going on.
No, I was wrong. I said Osama bin Laden. I meant Saddam Hussein. You were right on saying Osama bin Laden.
Oh, you said Saddam Hussein?
I did.
Oh, they hung him.
I know, but they found him in a hole.
America, USA, USA. Okay, so and at that point,
I was thinking because she has 2 long arrows through her, enough for her to drop or into a field. Okay, but she managed to do a quick 180 twist and shoot him down.
It's adrenaline, baby. Adrenaline.
180 no scope.
A 180 no. She turned around and shot and missed because she turned around.
But that was I thought that was really ludicrous.
Budapest. And then that's the end of the movie.
Well,
she goes on some sort. There's an ending monologue.
She goes to college.
Yeah, but the monologue didn't even really. It didn't matter a lot.
She was smiling and walking, and there's a silhouette of someone following her behind.
And he had a bag of
creepy music. But listen.
But she all she does is talk about college. She moved on to college, and she said that she was like they didn't have anything in common. They didn't know each other. I guess some people are just full of darkness or whatever like that. But I feel like the ending monologue cheapened the ending.
Yeah.
I don't know. They were trying to tie everything up with a neat little bow.
You know what?
What?
I'm just thinking about it. The end reminds me of Scream 2, because there's 2 killers. And you didn't know.
And one of them was Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
Yes.
So that's the town that dreaded Sundown.
But when she's walking down the street, she's smiling. And I put, dude, she moved on pretty quick. Like, her grandma died. She was just...
Seriously, where's she living? How's she supporting
I think she's a sociopath.
How's she support? Well, she's such a bland character. She has no emotions. Maybe she just doesn't feel any sadness too. So that's the sound. That's the town that dreaded Sundown. How many creepy bag masks out of 5 do you give it? Let's go out of 10. Let's do 10.
Okay, out of 10, give me a more accurate review rating. I'd say a 6.
6. It was like above, like piddling above average.
It was if average is that, that's a 5. Because I mean,
5.
like,
I'd say 5 is average. Anything below 5 is like below, and anything above is like high.
Because like, there's no reason I need to see this again. I mean, like the nostalgia part of it, and
it's
like
not even particularly memorable.
It's a guy who wears a denim jacket with a sack on his head.
I was gonna say 4.5. Just be like I feel like the only thing this movie really has going for it is the cinematography. Which is looked
cool.
It looked nice.
And there's parts I was actually kind of laughing. Like the trombone part was pretty funny.
The thing is, the original movie it's supposed to be more like almost like a mockumentary, and it has like a bumbling sheriff in it, and so it's almost like a comedy mockumentary. And this one takes itself very seriously. So the trombone thing just seemed out of place at that point.
Yeah, it was a little odd. It was just
even though it happened in the old one, it was still out of place because it took itself more seriously than the old one. But yeah, I'd probably give it like a 4.5. I thought it was a tiny bit below average. And that about wraps up our feelings about it. Yeah, cinematography was nice. Character development was shit. Not particularly memorable.
It is a cookie cutout horror movie, kind of.
I mean, cinematography and the idea that they were working off this old horror movie as if it existed in the universe was interesting. That's about it.
So we'll see. We'll probably have another video out next week.
Next Friday.
We'll cover.
Brandon, you picked out this one, so I'm gonna pick out the next one.
Fuck me.
Don't worry, I won't pick that. We have a special one coming up.
No.
Let's do Troll Hunter.
That looked pretty interesting. Okay, we'll do Troll Hunter.
Troll Hunter next week. Also, you can find The Town That Dreaded Sundown on Netflix. If you're interested, you could probably also find it on iTunes or Amazon. But honestly, like, would you suggest people spend their money to watch it? If you have Netflix and you're at least sounds mildly interesting, you want to see some pretty cinematography, you might as well watch it. But like I wouldn't say spend money on it.
If anything, just rent it.
I don't even know if there's probably better things you can rent.
Yeah.
Mad Max will be on DVD soon. Rent that.
I liked Pan's Labyrinth. It's kind of old, but...
Well, that was out of nowhere.
No, because that's
what does that have to do with Mad Max?
No, there's several movies you can rent. I liked watching Pan's Labyrinth.
That was a strange pool. It's a good movie. You know who did that?
Guillermo del Toro.
No, Benicio del Toro.
No, he didn't.
That's the end of Flicks from the Crypt. I almost said Tales from the Crypt. That's a good movie too. Thanks for listening. See you next week where we cover Troll Hunter. It's been Elijah
and Brandon.
Thanks.
Bye.
Here we go.
We were doing swell with a short way from hell on the hill. Oh yeah, we were doing swell with a short way from hell.